All right, top story, ED trouble coming in for the Gandhis in the National Herald money laundering case. In a major development, the Enforcement Directorate has filed a charge sheet against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Along with Sonia and Rahul, the prosecution complaint submitted in Delhi's Rouse Avenue court also names Congress Overseas Chief Sam Pitroda, Suman Dubey and others. The court will hear arguments on cognizance on April 25th. Congress has, of course, called it political vendetta targeting Sonia and Rahul Gandhi. The ED probe began in 2014 after a complaint by Subramanian Swamy, who alleged AGL properties worth over 2,000 crores were taken over for just 50 lakhs.
A very long time it is going on, and it's totally revengeful. Motilal Vora, they have filed charge sheet against Motilal Vora. Whether he will take out from grave or what. They have filed charge sheet against Oscar Fernandez. So where is Oscar Fernandez? From where he will bring before the court? It is all revengeful. Basically, Bharatiya Janata Party, they are scared of Gandhi Parivar and Congress Party. They have this strong feeling it is only Congress Party which is an alternative to Bharatiya Janata Party and may form the government. That is the reason. Revengefully, they are doing all this. Vadra was summoned. His case was in 2008, after 17 years. You are summoning him. After 17 years, you have no evidence, no proof. So just you are defaming this Gandhi family, nothing else.
At this point of time, all I can see is another distraction tactic by the government while the country is burning over the Waqf issue, and also with Rahul Gandhi ji calling out in Gujarat. These are political optics. You have to keep the issue burning so that people have something to talk about. That's all I can say. It might sound like weak defense, but this is what has been happening in this country for the last so many years. That they keep bringing the Gandhis in the picture. They keep bringing Congress in the picture. I mean, if corruption was the issue, what happened to 3G, 4G? What happened to CAG? Why haven't you been able to have a conviction in 13 or 11 years of BJP rule yet?
But that's an expected sort of reaction coming from the Congress party, Rahul. In fairness, we need to go back to the merits of the case. The National Herald matter involves the takeover of the National Herald by a company called or a trust called Young Indians. Broadly, the entire assets shifted for a paltry sum to the control of the Nehru Gandhi family. If I recall correctly, the Nehru Gandhi family, with Sonia Gandhi and others, are possibly out on bail. Several related issues also, they did not get any legal sort of benefit, because after all, the matter had gone on before the Congress, before the income tax also. So the answer lies in the merits of the case, rather than just simply coming up with a statement that this is vendetta politics. Secondly, if a charge sheet is filed, then by due process, it will now go before a court. The court will then look at whether charges need to be framed, take cognizance of it. And that would be an opportunity for them to be able to legally point out, is there enough material that cognizance of the charges should not be taken? But given the history and what is in the public domain, that is something, while due process of court will decide on it, certainly there are several very difficult questions that they need to answer.
All right, there's lots of political opinion coming in at the back of it. The Congress understandably calling it political vendetta, diversionary tactics. The BJP saying that law is taking its course and the Gandhis will have to pay for what they have done. So these are the allegations there. We're going to go deeper into the merits of the case. We'll be joined by Munish in a short while from now. But I want to cut across to my colleague Moshmi, who's going to be shortly joined by Prithvi Raj Chavan, former Maharashtra Chief Minister. And Moshmi, it's very, it's interesting in a way because the entire Congress is now coming together to defend the Gandhis in this case. Some calling it political vendetta to diversionary tactics.
Absolutely, Preeti. You know, the timing of it all, the Congress is questioning the timing of this entire ED filing the charge sheet, saying that it is state-sponsored crime at large. And clearly, you know, they smell a rat there, saying that the Bihar elections are around the corner. The center is cornered by the entire upping the ante of Rahul Gandhi over the caste census and perhaps not finding any relevant issue to hit back at the opposition leaders. Now, yet again, the state machinery is being misused grossly. And clearly, if you see, remember, Preeti, last time round in 2022, when ED had summoned Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi had gone hammer and tongs, rallying, telling in rallies how the ED officials didn't have anything to ask him. They just kept offering him water, kept him for hours, asking him the same questions, clearly driven by his master's voice. And that's one reason that we see that the Congress from all quarters is now giving multiple reactions. We've seen Jairam Ramesh go to social media and slam the government and the ED over the entire prosecution.
What's going to be the political defense, you know, in all of this, Maushmi? Because, of course, the case is going to take its legal course. But what is the Congress which it will do in days to come to build a political defense where they try and bolster their case, where they call it vendetta?
Right, Preeti. You know, this is a very raw nerve of the Congress, yet the Congress knows that Sonia Gandhi targeted, they can turn it into an entire emotional campaign of how Sonia Gandhi, you know, has been singled out in this one, and how the Gandhi family, in fact, with Rahul Gandhi also being named in the charge sheet, is being singled out. And if you see in the last time round, when Rahul Gandhi's membership of the parliament was annulled, at that point of time, you know, the Congress reaped political dividends out of the fact that Rahul Gandhi said his house was taken away and he was being solely singled out just because he was speaking against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So that's the key focus of the Congress. They will build on the fact that we are the chief opposition, we are the ones who criticize Prime Minister Narendra Modi unhindered, fearlessly, and that's why the Congress's top leadership being targeted this way. We saw last time round how Mallikarjun Kharge, you know, went all out, you know, even going to the National Herald's office in Delhi, you know, that has now been chaspared. So clearly, they are not going to take it lying down and turn it into a political war.
All right, so they're going to turn it into a political war of sorts. But, Maushmi, there has to also, you know, there's a political front which one can see already play out, where the entire Congress leadership coming together to defend the Gandhis on this, calling it political vendetta. And we know how this is going to play out. But there will also be a legal purview in all of it. And many would suggest, you know, that would need to come out sharper in terms of what is their defense on the charges that have been made by the ED. What is it that the Congress is saying? What is it that the Gandhis say in terms of appropriation of that property where the National Herald case is concerned, which they allegedly, of course, these are all allegations, bought for something as, you know, for peanuts, literally.
That's right, Preeti. You know, perhaps the legal front will be the front that they will have to work out very meticulously, and that's why they would have the best team of lawyers to put forth their case. Remember that the Supreme Court repeatedly has refused to quash the entire matter, and it was the Supreme Court that in fact gave them bail but refused to quash the entire case. So there was some grounds to which the ED was handed over that entire investigation, and you know, we had several calls.
1 second, don't keep putting me on air when we don't know.
So that the legal front will have to be worked threadbare, and the Congress has given that argument that this is an absolutely bogus case that has been built out of thin air, like the cases that were in fact you know, built during the UPA 2 era, and that's one reason that this won't stick, like the 2G scam or the Commonwealth Games scam, they never stuck in the court. This one will also not stick in the court because Rahul Gandhi himself has claimed that there has been no benefit of 1 penny in the entire matter, and the entire matter is just plain vendetta.
I'm going to just cut you short. Let's listen into Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who's, of course, putting forth the defense of the Gandhis in this charge sheet. Listen in.
By the person, including the former Congress President Sonia Gandhi ji. I think the government, by such matters, is only exposing itself and its campaign of political vendetta, because there is absolutely nothing in this case in a legal sense.
Okay, so that's Abhishek Manu Singhvi. I want to cut across to my colleague Shrishti Ojha, who's joining us. You heard what the political implications of this is for the Congress and the kind of defense they are building politically. What could be the legal implication of this, Shrishti? Would you take us through?
Well, pretty legally speaking, this is quite an important, very crucial step as far as the case against Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi in the National Herald matter is concerned. ED has filed a prosecution complaint, which itself is a very major step as far as the criminal procedure regarding any case is concerned. In this particular case, money laundering allegations have been made against Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Sam Pitroda in the charge sheet. Another important step would be the issue of cognizance, when the court will consider taking cognizance of this charge sheet on 25th April. Now, firstly, the court will have to hear the arguments that will be put forth by the ED explaining the charges that it is invoking against the Gandhis, the offences that it's claiming they have committed, and also the evidence or based on which such charges are being raised against the Gandhis in their charge sheet. After hearing the arguments of both sides, the court would then take a call whether or not there's a prima facie case made in this particular case to even take cognizance of the prosecution complaint. Once that happens, the court will decide to summon the accused in the matter, in this particular case being Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Sam Pitroda. So on 25th April, we will have to see what the court, the view that the court will take after going through the details of the charge sheet and the offences which the ED will try to make out against the accused in this case. Not just that, the court has also specifically asked to be provided with the case diaries, considering the matter has been going on.
Quickly let you go. Would you very simply, for our viewers, break it down shortly on what is it that the Gandhis are charged of and what can we expect in days to come?
Well, Preeti, we're talking about the ED's probe in this case, which had formally begun in 2021 based on a private complaint back from 2014. There are accusations that have been made against Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and other leaders of basically orchestrating a fraud takeover of AGL's properties, which according to them is estimated to be worth of over 2,000 crores through Young Indian for a nominal sum of rupees 500 lakh. So in short, money laundering allegations have been made. These allegations have now also been formalized by filing this particular charge sheet against Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Sam Pitroda. The court will now have to consider this charge sheet that has been filed by the ED. After arguments happen before the court with regard to cognizance, the court decides whether or not it will take cognizance of this particular prosecution complaint. If it decides to take cognizance, it will then have to summon the accused, which in this case are Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Sam Pitroda, who will have to appear before the court and mark their appearance. After that, the filing of charge sheet basically in a way implies a shift from the investigation process to the judicial process, because till now the investigating agencies was conducting the investigation. Now the matter has reached the court where the judicial process in a way will be started. Accused will have to come before court. The legal teams will have to argue before court. And as the process goes, once this process takes place, eventually we'll also see the trial go on forward, given the court decides to take cognizance of this particular prosecution complaint, where eventually as part of the trial, we also see arguments and framing of charges. Then the court decides which charges are eventually to be framed against the accused concerned. And then further in the trial, we see the court decide on whether there has to be a conviction or an acquittal. But as of now, July 25th April would be an important day to see what arguments the ED will put forth before the court, because it will in most likelihood lay down in detail the offences and also the allegations that it has made against these accused in its charge sheet, and also whether or not the court will decide to take cognizance of this particular prosecution complaint. Back to you.
All right, Srishti, appreciate you joining us with those details. Now, while all of this goes on, viewers expect a solid amount of political posturing, and that's going to come and already started from both sides of the divide, be it the BJP or the Congress party. With that, let's quickly shift focus to our other big story that we are debating this evening, and that comes in from the state of Maharashtra. Because what's really happened is we saw the Ladki Bahin Yojana that practically won the election for the NDA in Maharashtra come in with much fanfare. But what's happened down the line is a bit of pruning, snipping away of that particular scheme. Over 8 lakh women now in the state of Maharashtra would not get that 1,500 rupees of the Ladki Bahin Yojana, but just 500. Why so? Take a look. Ladki Bahin Yojana now conditional. The scheme that won Maharashtra for the NDA becomes a political flashpoint. For over 8 lakh women, the 1,500 rupees direct cash transfer is set to be now reduced to 500 rupees. As per the latest correction, women availing any other direct cash transfer scheme in the state of Maharashtra will now get only 500 rupees and not 1,500 rupees as earlier. For example, women farmers on the benefit roll of the Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme will receive only 500 monthly from here on. The Kisan Samman Nidhi, jointly funded by the central and state government, provides 12,000 annually. In contrast, the Ladki Bahin Yojana offers 18,000 rupees per year. Consequently, women benefiting from the Kisan Samman Nidhi will now receive only the difference of 6,000 annually, equivalent to 500 per month. According to the new terms of condition for the Ladki Bahin Yojana, women availing benefits from other government schemes are not eligible for the full amount. With this reduction, the opposition has sensed blood, alleging that the Ladki Bahin Yojana was introduced as a vote bank strategy during elections.
ज्या लाडका बहिणींकडून 1500 रुपयांच्या बदल्यात मतं विकत घेतली, तो त्या मतांची किंमत आता 500 वरती आलेली आहे, उद्या ती 0 वरती येईल.
ये लाडली बहना से धोखाधड़ी करने का काम ये सरकार का है और कर रहे हैं. बहुमत में सरकार आई और सरकार विधानसभा में और जब पब्लिक में जाती थी लोगों ने हमको बहुमत दिया, ये सब लाडली बहना से मिला, लेकिन उसी लाडली बहना से धोखाधड़ी करने का काम इन्होंने किया.
In response, Maharashtra government is in an overdrive to damage control.
महिलाएं जब उन्हें पता चल रहा है कि ये जो योजना है 2.5 लाख से ईयरली इनकम कम होने वाले महिलाओं के लिए है, तो जो महिलाएं आर्थिक दृष्टया संपन्न है वो भी खुद होकर अपने और से अपनी इस योजना का लाभ छोड़ रही है.
With the political slugfest peaking, the underlying message is clear to even opposition-run states. Call it welfareism, populism, freebies, ravery, or handouts. Direct cash transfers are a double-edged sword. The bloodletting continues way beyond the polling booth. Top focus on To The Point this evening. All right, so what we're seeing in Maharashtra, is it only limited to Maharashtra? Not quite, because the Congress is going all out suggesting that, listen, they never really had the money, there was no intention, it was a jumla during elections. But their own chief minister in Telangana has put his hands up, says he doesn't have the money to pay for the welfare schemes that the Congress announced to win Telangana elections. Listen in to Revant Reddy.
How are you going to pay for the guarantees, 4,000 rupees to unemployed youth?
सही सवाल पूछा है राजदीप जी. आप जो गलतफहमी में था, मैं भी वही गलतफहमी. 3.75 लाख करोड़ डेब्ट से ये जो इनकम है, इसके हिसाब से हम कुछ कर सकते हैं. मगर कुर्सी में बैठने के बाद असली रूप हमें पता लग गया.
Come on, yes. Chief Minister is telling us that you realized only after you became Chief Minister that you can't pay for your guarantees.
Not guarantees. repayment of loans. I'm not saying that I'm not going to pay for guarantees. I'm not able to repay for my guarantee.
But you admit, Mr. Reddy, fiscally it's not prudent. This guarantee business, रेवड़ी guarantee, whatever you might
फिर
call
सब
it.
लोग चर्चा करने का एक इंडिविजुअल से कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि इसीलिए मैं जो ओपन फैक्ट है मैं छुपा के झूठ बोलना नहीं चाह रहा हूँ, इसीलिए मैं हैसो बात सबके सामने रख रहा हूँ, क्योंकि ये चर्चा होने का बहुत जरूरी है. सब लोग हम कमरे में बैठे तो एक बात बोल रहे हैं, बाहर भाषण में गए तो दूसरा बात बोल रहे हैं.
So you think there should be a national debate on this so-called
Yes, definitely. Instead of one nation, one election, instead of delimitation, instead of other things, we have to discuss on this. We don't get any money to invest on capital expenditure. I'm sorry to say I'm not able to invest every month 500 crores, not even 500 crores I'm not going to spend on my capital investment. तो आगे आने वाले दिनों में राज क्या होने वाला है, देश क्या होने वाला है?
All right. So the Congress might point fingers at the Eknath Shinde or promises during Maharashtra elections, Devendra Fadnavis, the incumbent chief minister, for not delivering on his promises right now in Maharashtra. But the Congress is exactly in the same boat. So it cuts both ways, viewers. The questions that I asked this evening. Revision of the Ladki Bahin Yojana, essential for cash-strapped Maharashtra? Clearly, there's a very simple answer to that. The scheme only a poll promise meant to attract women voters. And that cuts not just for the Ladki Bahin Yojana, but for schemes offered in other states of the opposition as well, which are direct cash transfers. Are direct cash transfer schemes sustainable beyond elections? The freebie culture pushing states into fiscal instability. Let's cut across to our guest, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson BJP, Susi Ben Shah, Spokesperson Shiv Sena, Charan Singh Sapra, National Spokesperson Congress, Anish Gawande, Spokesperson NCP, Sharad Pawar faction. We're going to give all of you 2 minutes each to make your point. And Sanju Verma, let's begin with you, because what really happened, Sanju Verma, so much fanfare. 1,500 is going to be raised when we come to power to 2,100 rupees. 8 lakh women are now hoping to clutch on to 500 rupees, and there are more cuts because you did constitute a panel to revise, to prune the existing schemes for your own fiscal benefit.
Preeti, with no offense to none, let me make this very clear. The point is that many people in the media, they don't read, they don't write, they don't do their homework, and they start peddling false narratives. With no offense to you, you do your homework, and I'll tell you why. If you look at PM Kisan, one of the eligibility criteria is that if you're getting 6,000 rupees a year from PM Kisan as cash transfer, you as a beneficiary are not eligible to take cash benefits from any other welfare schemes of the Modi government. Now, what has been the eligibility criteria for Ladki Bahin Yojana? A, that the concerned woman should be between 18 to 65 years of age. B, her annual income should not exceed rupees 2.5 lakhs per annum. C, her husband should not be having a government job, because you have a spouse in the house who's earning 6 lakhs or 7 lakhs or 10 lakhs, and the woman is claiming, benefits under Ladki Bahin. That is absolutely not acceptable. The fourth and most important point is that the woman beneficiary should have a bank account, and more importantly, her bank account should be linked to Aadhaar. So let me reinforce very clearly the fact that if you're a beneficiary under Ladki Bahin Yojana, you cannot take cash benefits via cash transfers from any other Modi government's welfare schemes. Was always there. And this was also the case with PM Kisan. If you're taking benefits under PM Kisan, you cannot get benefits under Ladki Bahin Yojana. So that's the first point. The second point is this. We have allocated 36,000 crores for Ladki Bahin. The Forest Department has allocated another 10,000 crores, and the Social Justice Department has allocated another 10,000 crores. So the total outlay is 56,000 crores.
All right, your time is up, Sanju Verma, and I'm going to circle back to you because you are, you spoke of, not doing enough research, but I did understand you didn't mean it for me, but I'll just, because I have done some research, so let me, I'll also come back, to you on that point, because you say that fine print was always there. It wasn't there, Sanju Verma. It was the new member panel committee which was constituted. Ma'am, I will come back. Ma'am, allow me. Ma'am, allow me. Then there was a... Ma'am, allow me to make my point. You can't shout me down. Ma'am, you cannot shout me down. Ma'am, you can't shout me down. Allow me to make my point. I will come back to you. Allow me to make my point, and you can challenge me. Trying to shout me down is going to benefit no one. All I am just saying is those 8 lakh women. Then if the fine print was always there, then there was an oversight, because 8 lakh women who were earlier on getting 1,500 rupees, hoping to get 2,100 rupees, are now going to get 500 rupees. So they should have got 500 rupees right from the word go. They didn't. They were getting 1,500 rupees. So that has been pruned, whether you want to contest it or you don't. Thank you for your patience. I'll circle back to you, ma'am. I will circle back to you. Allow me to circle. Ma'am, I'm not making any reckless allegations. Yes. All I'm saying is these women who were getting...
You have never read the fine print of
ma'am, then okay, then possibly...
Go back and read the fine print.
Ma'am, possibly if there was that, if you insist there was always that fine print, if you insist there was always that fine print, then maybe possibly the administration did not read the fine print themselves, because women who were getting 1,500, 8 lakh women are now going to get 500. Now I'll circle back to you. Ma'am, I will circle back to you. Allow me to expand the debate. It's not an argument between a Sanju Verma and a Preeti Choudhry. Your feeder's going to go down, and I'll circle back to you. You'll get your time to contradict me and say whatever you wish to. I want to go to Charan Singh Sapra, because Charan Singh Sapra, you can turn around and say, see, we told you so, this was all an electoral jumla. Then one can quickly turn around and say, didn't you, maybe pick up the phone and speak to the Chief Minister of Telangana? Because Revant Reddy very clearly has said he has no money. You made promises which you can't deliver yourself.
See, Preeti, there is a difference between Revant Reddy and the situation in Maharashtra of Mahayuti government. Revant Reddy has committed that there is going to be a serious situation. He has not started, deleting the names of some women under the guise of some criteria. See, basically pre-election and post-elections in Maharashtra, they have, exposed the malified intentions of the Mahayuti government. It is also the betrayal of public trust. It can also be said that it is exposing the opportunistic or the deceptive nature of the Mahayuti government. Pre-election, all the Mahayuti leaders, including Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Nadda, Ajit Pawar, Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, everybody, nobody spoke about the fine print which we are talking today. Everybody, in fact, when the reporters or the people also asked them, they said that anybody who's getting benefit under any other scheme will also get benefit of this scheme. This is what Eknath Shinde has said on various stages, various platforms. And today, they are going back on it. This is purely a hollow political gimmick. This is an election fraud under the guise of which BJP has taken the votes of poor women, and post-election, under the guise of, some criteria, they want to withdraw their names. They want to reduce the scheme. This is a blatant, I would like to say, breach of commitment. Breach of commitment by Bharatiya Janata Party. The ladies of Maharashtra are not going to spare them. And I'm wondering, there are 2 ladies on the panel. They are trying to defend the government. In fact, they should stand with the females who are deprived, the 8 lakh females. And these are not only 8 lakhs, there are even more. 8 lakhs have come to you under your record. There are more females whose names have been deleted. Maharashtra females are not going to bear with this.
All right, okay. Charan Singh Sapra, you say Revant Reddy is different, but not quite different. There are delays in delivering on your welfare promises, not just in the state of Telangana. I'd also remind you that there is a possibility that the Himachal House is going to undergo an auction, sir, because Himachal Pradesh doesn't have the money to pay for its own welfare promises. You might call it welfare. Ultimately, everyone knows it's populism, whichever side of the divide you stand on. So not much difference.
Sir, allow me to, I'll circle back to the names of females. Yeah.
Okay, potato, anything that you might seem to suggest, but it comes down to the same thing. But I want to bring in Susi Ben Shah. Susi Ben Shah, the fact is, with what Charan Singh Sapra says, there's one truth in that. Eknath Shinde, the then Chief Minister, and I, attended 2 rallies myself. My Maharashtrian is not, very good, but at least with what I gathered from that, he said very clearly that I will increase it to 2100, sabko milega, I'm your brother and you are my sister, you will get that money. 1500 now, and why I give the figure of 8 lakhs is, why I give that figure is because we've done an internal research and we gathered the number, which some might suggest might be more, but we know there is at least 8 lakh women who will be getting 500. Why are we not being able to admit that, yes, you constituted a panel for fiscal prudence, you decided you needed to make some amends and corrections, and you have done so?
A very good evening to all, and warm regards to all my fellow panelists. And Preeti, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. Now, I'll tell you this. Let us understand very clearly that not a single word of the Ladki Bahin GR has changed. It remains, the GR remains as it is. Nothing is malified, Sapra Saab. Everything is bona fide. What this current government or the current opposition party, whatever it remains of, is harping on half-truths and misinformation. In the GR, it was always stated, Preeti. I'm glad that you mentioned that your Maharashtrian is not so good. Our CM sir, and now our DCM sir, continues to be the most popular Maratha Chief Minister. He still is the Ladka Bhav of all the dear sister, a dear brother to all dear sisters. Why? Because we have delivered and we continue to deliver. 57,000 crores is a budgeted allocation. It is not a hearsay. There is a concrete proof that this government is going to deliver. The other thing that I want to say is that it is not a promise. It is not just a mere promise. It is a commitment. Till now, after the new Mahayuti government has come, the regular stipend has been going to these women. It is not revdi. Please stand corrected, all of you. It is a dignity given to the woman. It is a sanman nidhi. It is a kind of a give back to them for the work that they do, giving them dignity in the family, in the society, and in the larger context, the family at large. So therefore, understand this Maharashtra government, under the dynamic leadership of Eknath Rauji Shinde, our Honorable Chief Minister, they call him Deva Bhav now, and also Ajit Dada. We stand committed to Ladki Bahin. We stand committed to women's empowerment, and there is nothing that can ever change that. This debate is based on misinformation and rumors.
Okay, ma'am, I'm going to come right back to you on this, but it's interesting because I don't think your own ally spokesperson will concur where you say Eknath Shinde was the most popular Chief Minister of Maharashtra, but that's another debate. That's another debate, ma'am. That's another debate. I don't want to get into it. It was just a side note. But it was just a side.
There is a difference. I said Maratha Chief Minister.
Maratha Chief Minister. Oh, the fine print in that also, madam. The fine print in that as well. Okay.
To understand the fine print.
Like I'm saying, the fine print in that as well. Okay, no, I'll come back. I'll circle back to you. So, Susi Ben Shah, and I will circle back to you on this, and I will ask you that question. Why is it that the fine print wasn't read when about 8 lakh women were being handed over 1,500 rupees with the promise of 2,100 rupees, and now they're going to be pruned to 500? Because clearly there was an oversight then. So if the fine print was there, then there was an oversight. And I'll come back to you on that. I want to bring in the NCB Sharad Pawar faction, Anish Gawande, in this as well. Anish Gawande, why is it so difficult to admit that you can't deliver on these? She says that, Susi Ben Shah said, because it's a political statement to make, don't call it revdi because it's welfareism. Somewhere down the line, that line gets blurred very quickly and it cuts across party lines.
Preeti, thank you so much for having me on the show, and I'm glad to be here. I want to start off by saying that it's very clear today that the Maharashtra government is a PR stunt. First, they used to rename things. Now they engage in accounting jugglery to justify all of these things. As you rightly pointed out, if these women were given 1,500 rupees to begin with, then why were they given those 1,500 rupees? Does the scrutiny for a scheme begin after money has been handed out? Then does this not mean that the government is admitting that one of the largest scams has taken place in Maharashtra today, where thousands of women who are not eligible for this scheme have availed these benefits at the cost of the exchequer? So what is being admitted on television today? And what is the level that we've dropped to? The BJP's manifesto at one point used to be a holy grail that the party followed. Karke dikhayenge was their motto for their manifesto. Today, not only are they going away from their manifesto promise of 2,100 rupees, but they're bringing it down to 1,500 and bringing it down even further to 500 for certain women. Scrutiny happens before a scheme is disbursed, not after. This is not governance. This is a circus. Now, more importantly, you ask the question as to why these schemes are necessary. Preeti, today the situation is such that economic inequality has reached levels worse than the British Raj. This government is an utter and complete failure on the financial front. Household debt is 41% of the GDP. 45% of those loans are subprime. Today, savings have hit a 50-year low. Indian middle class and lower middle class households are borrowing money to meet consumption expenses. The reason these schemes are popular is not because somebody wants to go around like Santa Claus handing over money to people before elections, but because people need this money. And instead of debating the Waqf and instead of debating one nation, one election, like Revant Reddy said, this government needs to acknowledge that there's a crisis and sit together to work on it. This government is only interested in distractions. They don't want to discuss the economy because they're failing on the economy, and it's going to benefit only them for a short time. Because
your time is up, Anish Gavani. You know what Revant Reddy said very clearly was that we don't have the money, and we all need to come together and say that we don't have the money to actually fund these schemes. That's what he said. He didn't say that we need to have them and then, we need to find the money for them or any of that. Just cannot. Fiscally, it's just not prudent in this country to float cash, direct cash transfers. But Sanju Verma, I want to come back to you and I want to circle back to you. You can address the questions. You can, take me on if you wish to, or you can also answer the question that I ask you, which is, along with Maharashtra, there was another state that announced a cash transfer, and that was the state of Jharkhand. That 1,000 rupees is being delivered as it is, Sanju Verma, while there's quite a bit of news coming in on the Ladki Bahin Yojana.
Preeti, first and foremost, let me make one thing very clear. The fine print always said there cannot be duplication in terms of cash transfers to beneficiaries, point number one. Point number two, if 8 lakh women are being only going to, be given 500 rupees henceforth and not 1,500 rupees, 8 lakh women ke upar itni charcha ho rahi hai, but 2.5 crore women who have got benefits, उनके बारे में चर्चा नहीं हो रही. मान लीजिए ओवरसाइट था, 8 lakh women out of 2.5 crore means only 3.2%. 3.2% women are being culled out. That is not oversight. That is when a scheme evolves, the scrutiny levels get tighter. Government schemes always coming for constant evaluation. And that is exactly what has happened. If Preeti Choudhry does not want to focus on 2.5 crore women beneficiaries, but if Preeti Choudhry wants to focus on 8 lakh women who are not going to get benefits of Maji Ladki Bahin Yojana, all I will say, Preeti Choudhry needs to get a sense of proportion. But Preeti is a dear friend. I will not focus on what the NCP spokesperson said, Preeti. Economy is going down the drain. No. International Monetary Fund has lauded Prime Minister Modi and said, we will be overtaking Japan in a few months, not in a few years, to become the world's 4th largest economy at more than $4.4 trillion. And let me tell the NCP spokesperson, aapke Sharad Pawar ki dhajiyan ud gayi. 2023 Sharad Pawar's NCP faction lost its national party status. And let me tell the NCP spokesperson, 250 million, as in 25 crore people, have been lifted out of poverty by Prime Minister Modi. Ye Sanju Verma nahi bolti, ye World Bank mein bola hai. India today has the world's 4th largest forex reserves, the world's 8th largest gold reserves, and do you know something, Preeti? Our per capita household wealth is $20,000.
Okay. Ma'am, your time is up. Your time is up. As much as I think it smacks of narcissism to speak of yourself in the third person, but Preeti Choudhry is very happy that you admit 8 lakh women are not getting that 1,500 rupees anymore. I am very glad you admit that.
What you're saying is true, Preeti. Don't miss.
Ma'am, abhi to admit kiya now you can't. You can't give a backhanded compliment, even if it is backhanded, and then take it away.
Okay. I said assuming.
Okay, assuming. Okay, assuming it is right. At least Preeti Choudhry is very glad you admit that.
Can you please upload the government for 2.5?
Ma'am, we will. Okay. I want to. Ma'am, it is already uploaded. The number of shows we did on that. How can you forget? You were a part of 50% of them. Charan Singh Sapra. I want to bring in Charan Singh Sapra. Please, ma'am. Ma'am, fader is out. Charan Singh Sapra, I want to bring you back into this conversation because, there seems to be us against them. But, you're all in the same boat. And I gave you 2 examples. Himachal Pradesh, Telangana.
See, Preeti, again, I am saying that Himachal Pradesh and Telangana, there are not such cases in which the women have been withdrawn from the beneficiary scheme. It's not that way. Yes, the Chief Minister has raised apprehension that there is a difficulty to raise the funds for it. That is true, and that is there with everybody. I'm happy that the BJP spokesperson on the show is talking about constant evaluation and the fine print again and again. They are repeating. But the same thing I would like to say again, that the then Chief Minister, Mr. Eknath Shinde or Fadnavis Ajit Pawar, they have never spoken about the fine print, or the fine print is going to come afterwards. They have not spoken about all this. So now they are talking about governance. But Preeti, this is not about mere governance. This is misuse of power, signaling that political gains are more important for the BJP than the welfare of the women. I remember pre-election, how the leaders used to say as if this is a very big reform and to empower the women of the, but actually they have cheated the women of Maharashtra. I would like to put it that way. And let me tell you, not only this scheme, there are various other schemes. The Ladki Bahin scheme, the Ladka Bhau she was talking about, or she was talking about Deva Bhau. Where is the Ladka Bhau scheme, which Eknath Shinde got it? And in which the youngster was supposed to get money. That scheme is nearly closed. There are many such schemes under the Maharashtra government which were announced during the election. They were just political jumlas, election jumlas. And in the days to come, BJP and all the other Mahayuti leaders are going to say ki ye to ek jumla tha, like Amit Shah said few years ago, for 15 lakh rupees in the each account. So BJP and the Mahayuti government, they are the liars. They are being exposed, and they are being exposed on their own. I'm asking, where is the Ladka Bhau scheme? Nobody's talking about the Ladka Bhau because the Ladki Bahin scheme is already in jeopardy.
Okay, sir, your time is up. Susi Ben Shah, your time begins now. You know, the question I ask you is, maybe one should promise as much as one can deliver. I asked that question to Sanju Verma. She didn't address it. But along with Maharashtra, there was another state that promised a direct cash transfer, and that was Jharkhand. And it seems that Hemant Soren is delivering that 1,000 rupees. He understood 1,000 was a safe option to offer, and he's delivering on it.
Preeti, we are also delivering. 8 lakh women have not been removed. Only the differential amount. Has been reduced. So they are not out of the Ladki Bahin scheme. They will continue to benefit under the Ladki Bahin scheme. There is a budget allocation that there is going to be shortly increase to 2,100. And don't you worry, none of them are removed. And let me also tell you this in the GR. I mean, I'm rather surprised that our very good old Sapraji has been in governance, in politics for such a long time. It is, whether it be NDA, whether it be Aghadi, whether it be UPA, whether it be Mahayuti, it is always that in a particular scheme, if you are getting benefits, you are not eligible under any other scheme. Like in this particular GR, not a word has changed. If you are eligible under Shravan Bal Yojana, if you are eligible under Sanjay Gandhi Niradhar Yojana, you cannot claim any other benefit. It is well known. I'm surprised that these people, whether it be my NCP spokesperson, I mean, he's giving out statements without having any proof whatsoever, be as it may. Not a single...
Your leaders have given...
No, sir, don't interrupt.
Sapraji, it was your Vilas Rao Deshmukh ji. He who said that I cannot deliver my promises because it was a misprint in the manifesto. Yaad dila दूं, आप किसान को, now Preeti, this is a very important point that Sapraji should be put to test too. That when Vilas Rao ji Deshmukh came as a chief minister, it was a promise by the earlier Sushil Kumar Shinde ji government that the farmers will not be able, they would not have to pay the debt. It was removed. But when Vilas Rao Deshmukh ji came to power, no farmers were given that benefit. He said it was a misprint in the manifesto.
Okay. Ma'am, your time's up. Ma'am, your time's up. I want to go to the NCP spokesperson, give him 2 minutes, but I'm glad that at least you also admit that there is, whether, you know, they might not have been removed, but it has been scaled down. But
please don't count me.
Ma'am, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Susi Ben Shah. Okay. I'm running out of time. 2 minutes.
I'm glad you also.
Ma'am, you also said that probability, if it is true. Okay, ma'am.
I concede. What you're saying is true.
Okay, you're saying if it is true. If it is true. Okay, I want to give 2 minutes to the NCP spokesperson to put his point forward because we are running out of time. Go ahead, sir. I don't want to come in for the comeback. Go ahead.
Preeti, to put it very simply, ये सिर्फ जुमला नहीं, गरीब महिलाओं पर कमल का हमला है. The reality is that the audacity of a government to claim that they can mislead the people of this country before an election and conduct a scrutiny after an election is shameful. There used to be a time when we said that manifesto promises should be binding contracts between political parties and citizens. I remember the time when we used to hold political parties accountable for their manifestos, and at least there used to be some semblance of an exposure of hypocrisy. Today, what we are witnessing is just a blatant denial of the promises that were made and no sense of shame at having made these promises. Women have tried to get this money and not gotten it. Women are now being told that this money is not going to be disbursed into their bank accounts. People have financially planned the following months based on this money, and you take it away like this. Is there no shame left? And worse, at a time when the economy is not doing well, at a time when we know that the global economic forces are against us, to pretend like the economy is hunky-dory is absolutely delusional. We know that our growth forecast has been cut to around 6%. We know that our sort of fiscal deficit targets are not being met. The last I recollect, the fiscal deficit to GDP ratio was 57.1%, far in excess of 40% that was put under the FRBM Act by none other than Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. The last I remember, we do have market volatility crises that are facing this country and a forex reserve outflow that is a cause for concern. To deny that this is even a concern, to say that everything is going well, is shameful. Are we just going to get to a point where we completely ignore that there's a crisis at hand and pretend like everything is okay?
All right. Well, this would have been, because I'm running out of time, I'm going to cut you short, take that 10 seconds away from you. Apologies there. But, the fact is this would be pearls of wisdom, for both the opposition leaders here. Because if, ma'am, please, this would be pearls of wisdom that if the opposition parties also practiced what they preach. I just want to also remind the Mahavikas Aghadi the promises they made. Because Mr. Gawande and Charan Singh Sapra, if you remember, you made promises that you would, this was 1,500, you promised over 2,000 rupees. How are you going to deliver it with the kind of debt that Maharashtra is in? We are going to leave it at that because, ma'am, I don't have the time. I need to close because then I'll have to give everyone. Please, I apologize. Okay, and Sanju Verma, if you're angry, you did not agree with me. If you want me to say that, I'll say it on national television. You did not.